gonna run to the podium and pick Malik Nabers. Not one person's gonna say, what about JJ McCarthy? So wait a minute. Not one person in that draft room said, wait a minute, one of the best quarterbacks in the draft is sitting here at 6. Are you sure we want to take a receiver? Here we go. All right, look. You know, episode 5 is in the books, and I gotta say, episode 2 was my favorite. I like the free agency episode. I enjoyed seeing Joe Shane get prepped about Saquon Barkley. I enjoyed the Illuminor and John Runyon bidding war. I enjoyed the Brian Burns trade. Like, the free agency episode was hands down the best episode. I think the Giants, because of Daniel Jones, I think they edited it, a lot of the talks of getting a new quarter. I think because of how touchy the Daniel Jones situation is, I think they edited it, a lot of that conversation, because it just seems too sold on Malik Nabers. Now, here's the deal. I'm not saying the Giants aren't sold on Malik Nabers. They're obviously sold on Malik Nabers. You heard Chris Grow, our wide receiver coach, say he'd take him over Marvin Harrison. You saw Dable say he'll take him over Roma Dunze and Like, I'm not saying that they didn't think he was the best receiver in the draft. They obviously thought he was the best receiver in the draft. That's not what I'm saying. But if you want me to believe that they spent all that time with those quarterbacks, and on draft night and leading up to the draft, there wasn't more talks about how aggressive we're going to be to get a quarterback. Let's call New England back. Like, you mean to tell me there was no extra conversation about quarterback? And then what kills me the most, too, is, like, okay, so I'm a Daniel Jones guy. Just because I started criticizing Daniel Jones more doesn't mean I don't believe in him. I believe in Daniel Jones, maybe not as much as I used to, but I still believe in the kid. JJ Mccarthy's right there. You mean to tell me they didn't have no conversations about JJ McCarthy? It was Malik Nabers or bust. You mean to tell me that whole time they didn't have no conversation about JJ McCarthy? Now, I don't want JJ McCarthy. He's got Alex Smith written all over him. I'm not saying I wanted JJ McCarthy, but that's not my job. My job is to do what I'm doing now and give y'all this real talk. That's my job. My job is to talk about what they do, okay? Their job is to be thorough in their investigation. Now, I want y'all to go in the comment section, okay? And I want a yes or a no. If Big Fisk, Bad Dog, Cop Pizzle, and a couple of y'all, if y'all was in the room with us, if we had a draft room, right? It's all the giant content creators. You put all us giant content creators in a draft room, right? And we're having a live stream. Okay, bear with me. This is long-winded, but bear with me. You mean to tell me that Big Fist, Bad Dog, Cop Pizzle, my guy Marshall from Giants Chat Now, you mean to tell me every single one of us is going to run to the podium and pick Malik Nabers? Not one person's going to say, what about JJ McCarthy? So wait a minute. Not one person in that draft room said, wait a minute, one of the best quarterbacks in the draft is sitting here at 6. Are you sure we want to take a receiver? Nobody had that conversation. Joe Shane, Dable, Kafka, John Mara, my girl Hannah, everybody was just in lacking step. We're taking Malik Nabers? I call bullshit. Sorry. I can't. I gotta call bullshit. I mean, there's no way they weren't talking about taking JJ McCarthy. You did all that scouting to get a new quarterback. You flew everywhere. You worked them out. We saw you bring them into the facility. I love Malik Nabers. I'm not saying they did the wrong thing. They made the right decision because JJ McCarthy's not an upgrade over Daniel. They made the right decision. I'm just saying, you can't go from wanting to trade up to get a quarterback. You can't go from bringing in Russell Wilson to having JJ McCarthy sitting right there we're just going to take Malik Nabers. We'll let the phone ring, but we're taking Malik Nabers. Huh? Does that make any sense? I mean, for like, that didn't make any sense. If I'm in that room, like I told you, if it was a bunch of Giants YouTubers in that room, we're not all going to have the same opinion. I'm sorry. Somebody's going to raise their hand and say, you sure you don't want to get JJ McCarthy? Are you sure? Somebody's going to raise their hand and say, you sure you want to run this back with Danny? Somebody going to throw their card in the hat and we're going to shake it up. That part threw me for a loop. But I mean, for the most part, I'm going to miss them, man. I'm gonna miss the Giants. Like, my Tuesdays has been built around Hard Knocks. All right, I'm gonna miss watching my team on Hard Knocks. I love Joe Shane. I like John Mara. I like John Mara now. Like, my whole perception on John Mara has changed. John Mara seems like that boss that just observes. Like, you ever had one of those managers who just observes everything? He don't really do too much. He's real hands off. Mara seems like the type of owner that'll let you dig your grave. He let Gettleman dig his grave with the Odell trade. He might be letting Joe Shane dig his trade with Saquon going to Philly. Like, John Mara seems like the type of dude who's gonna let you do you. He might ask a couple questions, but for the most part, he gonna let you do you. He's not a hands-on guy like Jerry Jones. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like that about John Mara. Let the people you hire do their job. I respect that about Mara. You know, because before Hard Knocks, I had this perception that John Mara was really calling the shots. Like, John Mara was going into the office and making demands. I don't even think that's in his character. Like, if you just watch and observe John Mara, can you picture him running into the office and just dictating, telling people what to do? He don't seem like that kind of guy. John Mara seems like the type of person that when he tell you what to do, he says it very respectfully. You ever had a manager where it's like they never actually tell you to do something, they just ask you to do it? Like, they don't say, go clean that up. Go over there and pick that up. Go stand over there. They're more like, hey, when you get a chance, can you go clean that up? Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you take care of that over there? Hey, if you're not busy, can you stand over there when you're done with that? That's what John Mara seems. John Mara seems like the polite manager. So I got a different perception on Mr. Mara. And I'm sad it's over, man. Wouldn't it be so dope, Giants fans? Wouldn't it be dope if we was about to go on a training camp with our team? Like, I think every NFL team, now this is wild, I get it. I think every NFL team should have their own Hard Knocks. I think every single NFL team should have their Hard Knocks. It doesn't have to be on HBO. It could be on their YouTube channel or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But every single NFL team has a YouTube channel. Why can't they have their own 30-minute webisode series that's basically Hard Knocks? Because that's the thing, right? If you're still in the comments, let me know how you feel about this. What's the difference between being on Hard Knocks and having complete control over the final cut and just putting it out yourself? Because remember, Hard Knocks doesn't have final say over what goes on the episode. The Giants do. The Bears do. last year when, the Colts during the end season, the Dolphins, whatever. The team has the final say on what goes on the episode. So my thing is, if you got final say over what's going on the episode anyway, why not just do it your damn self? I mean, now I'm invested into the team. Now I want to see what their training camp is like. What I think Hard Knocks should do is, if you're going to do this series, they should do it in like June. I think they should do it in June. I don't think they should wait till July to do it. I think they need to do it towards the end of May and let it end in the middle of June. Because it kind of sucks that the show ends with Joe Shane standing over the practice field. Like, man, I'm like, damn, bro, what the next episode? Like, Joe Shane standing over the practice field. They got the pads on. I'm like, yo, I want to see training camp, damn it. Like, I just feel like I got blue balled a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, But yeah, man, that's it. Like, look, man, it was cool. I just, like I said, I'm not a JJ McCarthy guy. But it's not my job. Like, if JJ McCarthy turns out to be the best quarterback in the draft, and we didn't even have a conversation about taking that guy, that's a fireable offense. And I love Joe Shane. Joe Shane is my favorite G. I love Joe Shane. But again, it's not my job. That's his job. If JJ McCarthy turns out to be the next great quarterback, and he was sitting there at 6, it don't matter how good Malik Nabers is. Malik Nabers could be the next Marvin Harrison, next Steve Smith, next Terrell Owens. He could be a Hall of Fame receiver. If JJ McCarthy turns out to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, it was a bust of a pick. Period. It don't matter. So, anyway, it is what it is. I'm happy with my boy Malik Nabers. That's it. That's all. Hit that like button. Hit the sub button. Drop FUs in the comments if you rockin' with me. And stay vicious. Dismiss.